There, Chummers, and welcome to the Sixth World. And today we're going to talk about a book that I'm actually kind of surprised that I haven't talked about yet on this channel because it is one of my favorite campaigns from Shadowrun 3rd Edition, even though I don't think I've ever actually finished running it. I've run it a couple of times for a couple of different groups, and I think every time we get like 3 adventures in it, it just kind of dies out. I don't really continue it, and or I lose interest or the group breaks up or whatever. But I'm almost positive I've never actually finished this campaign. So, what is Brainscan besides just being a pretty cool book with some really awesome artwork on the cover? Well, let's go to the back cover and read the little blurb in the back. It says, "Don't mess with my head. What if your mind was no longer yours? What if you could no longer distinguish fantasy from reality? What if your brain had an off switch and someone else held the remote?" Brainscan is a campaign of 5 linked adventures that drop the characters squarely into the middle of a titanic struggle for identity, control, and freedom. All right, so I'm not going to give away too many spoilers for this book because honestly, it's been a while since I've read it. I have a copy of it somewhere. I don't know where it is. I have a digital copy, of course, but I have an actual physical copy of this book. I think it's over at a friend's house, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, but I am going to talk to you a little bit about what Brainscan involves and what the campaign is about. So Brainscan is the follow-up to Renraku Arcology Shutdown. Now, Renraku Arcology Shutdown, it's a book that I've never read because I could never find it in my area. I flat out couldn't find it. I knew it existed. I wanted to read it. I could never get a hold of it. I might have to pick up a digital copy of that from Drive Through RPG or something like that at some point and read through that book and do a little review of it. But Renraku Arcology Shutdown, what that essentially details is it details the takeover of the Renraku Arcology by the rogue AI Deus. Now, long story short, Renraku had been doing experiments with AI for years. They ended up creating, if I'm remembering the story correctly, they ended up creating 2 different AIs. One AI, I think, was Megara, was her name, and she ended up. There's an entire book detailing her creation and her run-in with a Decker named Dodger and that sort of thing. So it's a book that I read a long time ago as a kid. It was very, very good. It might have been Never Deal with a Dragon, actually, if I remember correctly. Somebody in the comments can let me know what book that's mentioned in. I'm almost positive it's Never Deal with a Dragon, but I could be wrong on that. So anyway, Renraku experimenting with AI makes 2 of them. One of them, Megara, if I remember correctly, gets away and escapes. The other one, Deus, is essentially in control of the Renraku Arcology. It's essentially an AI that was created to, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's an AI that was created to run the Renraku Arcology. It ends up becoming self-aware. It ends up realizing that its creators are not the nicest bunch of people. If I remember correctly, they try to shut it down, and Deus it basically breaks free of their control. And while he's still stuck in the Arcology, though, he does take control of the Arcology, locks it down, shuts it down. Thousands of people are trapped inside, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. The UCAS military in Seattle basically cordons off the entire area. And for like a year, nobody knows what's going on. And then Brainscan is the Renraku Arcology Shutdown detailed what was happening inside the Arcology, the weird experiments that Deus was doing with drones and with the metahumans that were trapped inside, his attempts to create otaku through and essentially link them and enslave them to himself in the form of the Banded. And Brainscan is the follow-up to that and it starts with the runners being hired by intermediaries being hired by Deus through intermediaries to essentially perform tasks that the result of it is the end result is eventually going to be Deus being able to finally break free of the Renraku Arcology itself and get loose in the Matrix. Because at this point, Deus, because he was created to run the Arcology itself, he's essentially, I don't want to say enslaved to the Arcology because that's not the right word, but he's trapped in the Arcology. He can't leave it. He's in control of it. He can do whatever he wants within it, but he can't actually leave it, and that leaves him in a vulnerable position, which he wants to rectify by breaking out of the Arcology. And these adventures in this book are the runners setting that up and eventually realizing who and what has been hiring them, and working with a resistance group called Overwatch to essentially stop Deus's plans in their tracks. So there's the series of adventures. It starts out pretty normal with some light Shadowrun work. You go through the campaign. You end up, it gets more. The stakes get higher and higher until eventually you have to penetrate the Arcology itself, and you end up in a showdown with Deus himself. I'm not going to detail any of that showdown because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's actually pretty good the way that it goes down. Now other than the fact that these adventures are just really freaking cool, the book itself does a really good job of kind of detailing the atmosphere of the Arcology and the weird drones and things like that, and just what's been going on in the Arcology. Because remember, at this point, the Arcology is completely locked down. There's been nobody going in, nobody going out, no news, no nothing. Nobody knows what's exactly going on, or at least very few people know exactly what's going on. The public as a whole certainly doesn't know what's going on. The vibe is very similar to the containment zone in Chicago during Bug City, where the people inside of that particular area know exactly what's happening, or know a lot about what's happening at least, and are fighting for survival, while the public outside is unaware of the exact nature of the incident. All they know is something's happening inside the Arcology, people are trapped there, but nobody knows exactly what. The military kind of knows a little bit about what's happening. Renraku, of course, knows exactly what's going on. It isn't telling anybody anything. And the runners eventually discover that. And I think that feeling of discovery and that the revelation of who exactly the runners are working for in this book, I think, is done really well. Also, the fiction in this book, the little fiction pieces in here at the beginning, and then I think there's one at the end as well. The epilogue. Those fiction pieces are actually done really, really well, and add a lot to the story of this campaign. And they really do a really good job of setting up the story for the campaign in the beginning, and then the epilogue does a really good job of setting up maybe further adventures spiraling out of this particular campaign that a savvy GM can take advantage of and do what they will with. So, Brainscan. I know we didn't get too far in. We haven't gone too far into this book. Again, I don't want to spoil it, and it's been a long time since I've actually sat down and looked at this book and actually tried to run through this book. Maybe I'll see if I can get another group going at the friendly local game store and maybe give this campaign another try. I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here before it gets way too ranty. Let me know what you think about Brainscan. Do you have this book? Have you run this campaign before? And if you have, how successful was it? Did you get all the way through, or did you, were you like me and it just kind of fell apart after about halfway through or so? Bottom line, though, is what do you think of this book if you have it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's a good follow-up to Renraku Arcology Shutdown? Or do you think it's maybe lacking something? As always, if you liked what you see, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Both of those things help me out quite a bit. I will put a link to the book through Drive-Thru RPG in the description of this video, because this book is available in PDF format on Drive-Thru RPG, and I am a Drive-Thru RPG affiliate. So if you go to that link, even if you don't buy Brainscan, if you pick something up for yourself, it helps us here out at the channel. We also have channel memberships available. Patreon is available as well if you want to back the channel more directly. Otherwise, liking, subscribing, and sharing the video and commenting, all of that good stuff helps grow the channel immensely. And I will see you all next time. And that's the chip truth, chummers. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more Shadowrun content. Hit that notification bell so you will always know when I upload a brand new Shadowrun video, and until next time, remember to shoot straight and never, ever deal with a dragon.